All right, without further ado, I'm going to get started here. I've got a lot to cover. I will, just so you guys know, if you guys haven't been with me before, I'm going to give you all the assets, all the slides, all the information, all the links and everything. Okay. Once you are, well, I'll have a QR code at the end for you to enter. Once you're there, okay, I will send out a recap of everything that we talked about. So you can just relax, sit back, and don't have to worry about taking a million notes or what's this link or what's that link. I'm going to include everything I talked about. Okay. And then we'll also have recording for you, of course. So if you want to review anything, all of my AI webinars, we did them almost all of last year, at least once a month. And all of our recording, I have them on YouTube, but they're also on Real Academy. So for those of you who are new to Real, definitely check out, Real Academy. And I will also give you that link to my specific course on AI. So nothing to worry about. I just want you to be able to sit back, relax, and kind of enjoy and learn more and grow your business at the same time. That sound good? Great. Okay, I'm gonna get my slides started. iPad. All right. This session is going to be all about organization. Okay. And before we can dive into any of the automations and any of the AI tools, we have to understand some things about organization. And I will tell you, having not only a real estate business, but also a technology agency that I help clients do tech work, do automation, set up their CRM, set up their software, recommend different softwares, how to put together their business with all the software that they need. I'm going to go over that with some of you guys, but I'll tell you, organization is the first thing I start with any client that I talk to or any agent that needs help. Okay, how is this structure organized so that you have a framework to be able to always work with? I always go back to the idea of a restaurant. Everybody's been to a restaurant before. It's got to run like a machine, otherwise you go out of business, right? Customers get mad if the food don't come. Customers get mad if you don't have a menu to look at. Customers get mad if they don't know where to sit, and it's confusing, all stuff. So when you look at restaurants, is a restaurant that you want to go to, you see what kind of food they have. That's very clear. You come in, there's a hostess that helps you get seated. There is a organization around where the seating is for different type of people. If you want quieter area, if you want, in the old days we had smoking area, but then that's out the door. And then you have areas that are specifically for say handicapped and stuff like that. There's an organization right around that. You know that you love a restaurant when you go in there and everything's extremely organized, and they take you through this experience and show you the menu, uh, provide you food, of different courses, give you description of them, how they were made, the ingredients and all that stuff. You eat it, you enjoy it. The atmosphere is awesome. So all that is organization, right? You have people who are hostess, waitresses. You have possibly cashiers, you have cooks, you have sous chefs, all this stuff all in the back end. Now, all that stuff is coordinated and all organized. So I want you to think about that in terms of how you run your real estate business. Okay. And that's why it's so important. And that's why this session is going to be probably one of the most important sessions that you will ever come across to be able to do this. I'll tell you, I learned a lot of things by accident. And all of these things that I've learned really opened my eyes to how things can be organized rather than just kind of, winging it and taking things as they come. All right. So this is all about organizing. And we're going to, of course, add in some of the AI features now that are going to help some of this organization as well. Okay. So if you don't know about me, my name is Leo Chen, and I am a Real Academy instructor, now been for almost a year. And I am also a luxury market realtor here in Orange County, California. And the reason I do these is because I have been as a corporate tech executive for over 15 years for a interactive agency, which is like an ad agency that's full service. And what I love doing, because I have these cross points of experience. I love tech, I love business, I love sales, I love real estate. And I also founded an integration agency to help people do all of this tech stuff, including AI, going forward. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. So in terms of organization, there's always problems. Like, why do we even need to organize, right? So you might be wondering, like, oh, well, this is kind of thing that I run into all the time. If I'm not organized, I have no roadmap. Okay. And when I talk about roadmap, and if you've been with me before, I talked about this a lot, is the GPS system, things on your phone, right? You want to go somewhere. In the old days, we had a map, so you had to figure it all out. But nowadays, we have GPS and we pull it up, we put in an address where we want to go, and it gives you detailed instructions where to go. Go down here, turn right, go a mile up the road, turn left on this street, and then go 2 miles, and then you'll end up at your destination. That's very organized, right? It organizes it for you. And that's the aspect that I will be touching on, is how AI will help you do that. Because as you know, the GPS literally is basically an AI in there with all kinds of formulas to figure out which direction to go, how far to go, how long it's going to take, calculate all that stuff. So think of it as a GPS. So the problem we have is we don't think about a business as a roadmap for every single function. And so you have no roadmap. And you look at this picture here, like, I don't know where to go. I don't know what the signs are telling me. I don't know if somebody's going to cross the street, I'm going to hit them, or I don't know if I should stop or go. Should I stop or should I go 40 miles an hour? Right? So there's a very, very normal experience that a lot of us have, when we start our own business, especially in real estate, because it's not very standardized across the board in the real estate business overall. Okay. Problem number 2, it's overstacked, right? We have to do so many different things at the same time. We have to call the clients or call prospects, find out what all they need, where they are, what kind of timings they have, what things are they looking for in a home. Okay. And that's just the beginning. That's just the tip of the iceberg, right? Then we have to schedule. And when we talk about scheduling, we talk about, I got to schedule to make sure that I am free on a certain day and time, that the client or prospect has certain time and day that they're free. Okay. And then we have to, if we're doing showings, we have to coordinate between us two and maybe the listing agent, maybe the open houses, what time that is, and maybe the owner of the house if they live there, right? So you count that up, that's like 5 different people that you have to coordinate before you can actually even make an appointment for showings. And if you're doing multiple showings, then you can easily multiply that by 3, 4, or 5 times, right? So if we're organized in our calendar, and I'm going to show you how I do that, so that you can systematically be able to organize all of your showings. Okay, and everybody gets followed up, everybody gets reminders, everybody shows up, and everybody gets showings, and then everything is perfectly run. Okay, so is that something? Just show of hands. We all schedule showings, right? Yeah, all the time. Hopefully. And it can be kind of tough, right, Abby?
True.
Okay, so that's problem number 2, is that we're overstacked with too many things. And if we can organize that in a linear fashion, then we don't have these rocks falling down, falling apart on us. Okay, problem number 3, okay, missing steps, right? Imagine the GPS again. If there was 1 or 2 turns that it didn't show you, I think you probably get lost, right? We want to step in this hole and we're going to fall down and we're not going to make it, right? So same thing with our business. We can't have missing steps. We have critical steps that have to be done in order for the whole process to work for our clients. Same thing with the escrow, right? If your clients don't get their loans and everything on time, that's a misstep. That means they can't buy the house. That means everything just completely falls apart. All the work that you've done before are all for nothing if it falls out of escrow and they can't even pay for the home, right? So those are the problems that we typically run into. Does that all of those things resonate with you guys? Just put a 1 in the chat if any or one of those things are a concern to you? Yeah, totally, right? Thank you guys for chiming in. I want to just make sure we're on track here. Can you guys all see my screen okay, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, good, good. Awesome. All right. So our goal here with organization is to reduce your stress, because when you're overwhelmed and you think you might, miss a step or didn't do something before it needs to be done, you have a lot of stress. So we want to reduce stress and increase your productivity. Okay. And as you can see in the photo, when you increase your productivity, you increase how much money you can make in this business. Okay. So now I will tell you, just like I was saying in the very beginning, organization really is the path to achievement. When you're organized, you can do things faster, you can do things better, you can do things with more growth, and ultimately more scalability. Right. So let me take a quick poll here. What are you guys doing right now to keep you organized? Feel free to unmute or type in the chat. Is there a software that you guys use? Do you write things down? How do you prepare and get all your business organized, especially with marketing? If you guys do any kind of social media, right?
Google Calendar for me, and Apple Notes.
Awesome. So let's see here. Google Calendar, Apple Notes. Okay, two good ones I'm going to be actually talking a lot about, and I give you some upgrades around that. Yeah, Monday.com.
Use the Google Keep.
Google Keep. What do you use Google Keep mostly for? Is it tasks that you use?
I use all kinds of different apps. I say just gonna keep the Google Keep and just create. I don't know. I just create kind of like a Trello.
Yeah.
I create like notes and stuff like that. Like a listing deal, I have each Google like a process for listing. I put it, instead of Trello and all the moving around, I just keep it on the one deal. And it's kind of good. And if I want to collaborate with something with the seller on like 10 items need to be fixed, and I just share that keep with them. So I figured I've been using the Google platform, and why not just do the keep and calendar and everything else. So I'm kind of going back to the Google thing.
That's so amazing. I love that so much. It's what we call universal capture, right? You think of an idea, you want to be able to capture it, get it out of your head, and get it onto a list. And Google Keep does that. It could be, tasks that you want to do. It could be a bookmark or something like that. So I'm going to show you how I do my universal capture as well. Kimberly says, I'm trying to integrate systems, and I'm trying Zapier and also introduce myself to Facebook ads now. Super awesome. So Facebook ads and Zapier. Okay, so all of these things would be precursor to Zapier, because Zapier is for automations. And I use a lot of Zapier, and I've done a lot of Zapiers for a lot of agents and clients and teams as well. Google Calendar, training, Google Keep. Great. All right. So I'm going to show you a few things I think you guys may not have seen before. I'm going to show you how actually gets organized, and you may have a different perspective about this, hopefully after the session, and I'll get you guys' feedback as well. So this is how I look at organization. This is the path, okay? And this is a framework that you can use for all kinds of things, especially in organization. Okay, so when I start to work with someone, when I want to find out how they want to scale, okay, I start with organize. And when I say organize, we're going to put down all of the items that you have that you need to have running in your business. Just like I said before, in a restaurant, like in a restaurant, you need food, right? You need equipment, you need utensils, you need staff, you need tables, you need chairs, and you need a storefront of some sort to be able to open up your restaurant. So those are pieces to organize. Okay, so if we were doing a restaurant, I would write down all those pieces and I would start to organize what's priority and how all that stuff gets put together and how we kind of acquire all those things to be able to run the restaurant. Okay, but once you organize, okay, you want to standardize. Standardize. Okay, so once you organize and put all the pieces together, we want to standardize it. Hey, when we always use these type of chairs, we always use these type of tables, and we always put them in rectangular shape. That's a standardization, because once you standardize and you have rules around that, then it's very, very easy to organize. Okay, so that's number one. Number two step to the path is optimize. Okay, once you have all the pieces and you standardize, a way to say standardize is categorize. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Is once you organize it and categorize it, now it's your job to optimize it. What's the most optimal way to categorize and standardize this and be able to run the process efficiently? And once you've done that, and only when you've done that, you can see you continue to organize, continue to optimize, and back and forth until you get kind of a near perfect kind of process. Okay, so when it's perfect, then and only then can you scale your business. Because if you can do it with one, you can do it 5 times, you can do it 10 times, right? Because you literally just duplicate it. Okay, so does that framework kind of help you guys be able to kind of see the bigger picture? Just give me a 3 in the chat if that all like sounds good to you. Like, hey, what my goal here is organize it, categorize it, and standardize it. Then I can optimize all those things that I categorize. Then I can scale. What people try to do is they try to skip. They skip this, and then they try to optimize, but they have nothing to optimize. And so it's only a few things that they do wrong. And then they say, hey, how come I can't scale? Right? So we don't want that. We want to start at the front. And when we can standardize and categorize, then we can optimize. And so today's session is really all about this part here. Okay. So now here is the foundational. Sorry, let me see if I can move my mug out of the way. There you go. How about I make it smaller? There you go. All right. So this is a organizational system that I put together when I was growing a team. Okay. And so you can see all of the pieces. Number one, we need core office management tools. This is your email. This could be Google Workspace if some of you use that. Some of you might use Office, Microsoft Office 365. Similarly, okay. But you need some sort of email that's branded. That means a domain name of some sort, such and such realty.com. And you need Google Docs and Sheets. You need Google Voice, for example, or if you have any kind of presentation that you do. And then you need forms. Okay, Kimberly, this would be very important for you to know. Forms of one of the best ways to be able to use for automating stuff. Okay, because somebody else can fill out the form, a whole bunch of stuff happens and goes into your data and give you relevant data to be able to act on it. Okay, so forms are super important. And we talked about before, calendar. So either you have Google Calendar. In my case, I use Calendly, and that's how I automate. So Calendly is what we are actually what I'm going to go over with you, so you can see how we can schedule perfectly. Okay, second layer, you have your communication layer. Now this applies really if you have a team or a growing team. Okay, you can use Slack, but you can use other type of group text if you want. You can literally use Facebook Messenger if you want. Okay, but some are going to be more easier to use and more organized to use than others. Slack is one of the most popular ones because it literally keeps all the text forever. It's private, and you can search for anything and be able to find it. It has really good tagging systems. So Slack is very popular for that reason. Okay, so that's your communication layer. Then we have our CRM. Every single agent should have their CRM. And at Rio, we use Lofty. So it's very full featured, but you'll need to be able to organize your CRM appropriately to be able to text, email, and call right out of the platform. So that means you can pull up a list, text, email, and call, and that way it makes your follow-ups extremely easy. So nothing falls through the cracks. Then you have your workflow. Okay, the workflow is about project management. This is where you would keep all of your tasks, and you can also assign tasks to other people if you have a system that is in a team environment. Okay, and this also goes to any kind of process and any kind of what we call SOP, standard operating procedures, that you can put together so that you can always reference that. Or if you're hiring someone or bringing a new agent, you give them that SOP and they can, get started right away. Okay, so procedures and processes that you guys run to. Okay, so we need to house that somewhere, and that's the workflow layer. Okay, some of you might be familiar with ClickUp. It's similar to Monday.com, but it helps you with all of your tasks and to-dos and projects. But there's other ways to do that. That's a combination, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that as well. But these are kind of standard things that that you need. Next, we have the storage layer. We have documents. Sometimes they're video files, sometimes they're audio files, sometimes they're images, sometimes they're presentation slides. We can't stuff all that stuff into a CRM or a Slack or in emails and all that stuff. So we need a way to organize all of our data storage and then use it to reference. So a good one would be Google Drive, or you could use Dropbox, right? So all of those things get organized and get housed in a storage layer. And lastly, we talked about this a little bit. I think Abby brought it up earlier, is the universal capture. This gives you the ability to do any kind of research easily. Anything that you see on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media, on anything like that, okay, you'd be able to capture it so that you don't have to try to remember it. Okay, and there's a system called Notion AI that will help us do that. Okay, some of you guys use Keep. Okay, but I will show you the difference between, say, Notion AI and Keep that can make things a lot easier. Okay, is that helpful for everybody? Kind of to kind of just see what all is needed in order for you to kind of run your entire business easily. You have project management, you have CRM, you have how you communicate, you have how you store files, and then you have how you do day-to-day tracking of things that you find. Great. All right, so now we're going to go into this aspect of it, what I talked about before, is the calendar and the Notion AI. These are the two areas that we're going to focus on today. So in terms of calendar, right, what do we need to do? We need to book meetings. We need to do showings. We need to do listing presentations. And we can do that by either using Google Calendar, Calendly, or Acuity. There are many others. The one that I happen to use is Calendly. And then how do we actually plan our work week schedule? How do we do recurring time? And I will talk about hard and soft tasks. And then how AI gets integrated for all of your calendars. All right, so I'm going to go down stuff one at a time here. So reclaim AI. There is a difference between hard and soft tasks. What we talk about when it comes to hard tasks is that these are must do, and these are time sensitive. Means there is a definite due date and time. Okay, so if you look here on my calendar here, this is a planning calendar from Reclaim AI. And all the solid ones are must-dos. You can see my AI presentation on my calendar here today from 10 to 11. It's a must, right? And you see the ones around the dotted boxes, they are flexible. So this is what I would call soft tasks. These are called hard tasks. Okay, so this is an important idea to really understand, is that all the hard tasks, okay, they must be done in those times. So this one, this one, this one, and of course I have to eat. So these are my lunch hours that I book. Okay, and I have my morning hikes and morning walks, my morning exercise that are hard. Okay, meaning that they must be done. But then some of these other things, sometimes it takes me an hour, sometimes it takes me 3 hours. So what Reclaim AI does is takes any of the soft schedules and be able to either split it up or it can move it down the line. So this one, this task could be moved down to here if for some reason I book a hard schedule here. So what AI does is it will take all the hard tasks and schedules and replace them in the areas that must be done with the due date, and it will automatically move all the stuff to the blank spots and help you organize it automatically. Okay, I'm going to take a quick pause here. And does that give me a 1 in the chat if you guys are tracking with me and that that this makes sense to you, because it's a very, very advanced concept to understand. Have you guys heard of this before, how you organize it between hard and soft tasks? Feel free to unmute. Abby, is that familiar to you?
This is a very interesting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say how interesting this is because what happens to my soft tasks is since they don't have a set date, a set time, I'll be like, this is not official, so I won't be adding this to my calendar. And then I tend to just forget about it. So this notion of putting them in a different color or with dotted lines around them, it's just I really like it, and I'm looking forward to using this even in my personal life.
That's right. This is probably one of the biggest ideas, the most cutting edge ideas around time scheduling and calendaring as far as technology is concerned, because we all have these soft tasks. And we, just like I said, it might take you 15 minutes, it might take you 2 hours, but maybe you can do 15 minutes of it today, and then you can do 45 minutes of it on Wednesday or Thursday. It's flexible, right? And invariably, if we're busy, something always gets in the way, and we don't want to have to constantly move that stuff around, because that's a waste of time. And so what this tool does, it will automatically move it for you. and it will remember all of your preferences and be able to do that. And Nasera asked, what is the AI tool? So the AI tool is called reclaim.ai. Okay, you can get a free trial and it'll automatically do that. And I'm going to actually do a walkthrough for you live on Reclaim AI so you can see how it gets organized and see how it works. Okay, so I just want to make sure you guys actually, I explained it properly, that you guys understand the difference between something that's a must do and something that's a little bit more flexible, but you still want to get it done at some point. Okay, and how do we deal with those two different type of things? So that means with this system, you can keep putting all your flexible tasks that you want, all you want, okay? And if it doesn't get done, it just gets pushed forward. And then if you prioritize them, then they will prioritize themselves automatically, so that you'll see what your next best flexible task that you should get done next. Okay.
Hey, I have a question and a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
So if I use this reclaim AI, so where does that go interface with my Google Calendar, or I have a separate app, or how do I? You're saying use this as a primary calendar? Is that
Yes, it actually works in conjunction with your Google Calendar.
okay?
So you would organize and plan all your stuff on Reclaim, and all the stuff that you put in your calendar, it gets synced up to Google Calendar.
Right. So the next statement I was going to tell you, those of us watching right now, this is great information. A lot of time in my life, when I see something is kind of complicated or is not necessary right now, and I don't listen really good. And so those of you watching this, if you're a brand new agent only doing a 1 or 2 transaction, don't matter, because if you're going to be successful, you're going to be doing more. But learn the system now for organization, because that's one of those things they never told us, or technology wasn't there when I started real estate almost 4 decades ago.
That's exactly right.
So
That's
right
exactly
now, and there's so many people I'm trying to help in real other places, and then they look at something, they probably do a 10 transaction, right? Or 15 or 20 or something. And it's we're not busy enough to do that. But the problem is your mind is cluttered because your mind is so stressed, even though you already did 5. I have a loan officer I know. I got to figure him out. He cannot do more than 5 at a time, because
Yeah.
even though it's only 5 in his brain, that is maximum capacity. So what I'm learning from real meeting you and things like that, real convention, is something you're not using right now, but just absolutely learn the technique and the system, so your brain is kind of relaxed and say, hey, I can do this, I can do 20 or 100. So anyway, just a comment, because a lot of time I listen to something and I say I'm not there, like a team building or systems and tools. You just need to practice with one, then you can do it with 100 transactions.
That's right. That's right. That is one of my big vision mission, is to help people be able to do that. So a lot of people may be in business for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years, who come to me and never heard about any of this stuff and not sure how to do it. And now we have to work them backwards. Okay, how do you currently do stuff now? And how can we organize it so that you can literally do things 5 to 10 times faster, right? Okay, super good. I'm glad you guys get that, because Reclaim is super powerful on this concept of soft and hard tasks. Okay, next thing I want to show you is what's called Notion AI. Okay, so let me take a pause here. Do you guys want to see Reclaim live here right now, and I can show you exactly how it works before I move on?
Yes.
Just give me yes. Okay, great. Let me share my screen, and let's do that.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hey, Tim, it's Becky Hennebush. How are you?
Oh, good. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Let me do a quick mute. Sorry about that. All right. You guys all see my screen okay? This is my browser.
Hmm,
1 second.
You haven't seen
Hold on.
2 screens.
Yeah. Let me, here we go. How about that? You guys see that?
Yes.
This is my account on Reclaim AI. Okay. And I'm going to walk you through the categories, and then you can see this is live right here. Okay. And I have my hard tasks and soft tasks. Okay. And all the soft tasks are being managed by AI. Okay. And the way that I set this up, okay, this is the planner. So obviously I can move these things around, right? These are my hard ones that are moving around, or I can also move the soft ones around if I wanted to. Okay. And I can set rules around the soft tasks and when it possibly could be and when it's going to be done and what category it is. All right. So this is the planner. So the planner allows you to be able to see, in this case, an entire week. Okay. So just like a calendar, so that you can see everything clearly. Okay. And then this is super interesting. This is priorities. And just like you said earlier, Abby, that you were using kind of like a Trello, this is how Trello usually works, is that you have these columns and you can move your task based on, is it a critical task? Is it a high priority task? Is it a medium task? And you can also have, of course, other types of tasks, lower priority tasks. But what I want to show you is I put all of my tasks and stuff here so that I can say, hey, this is corporate taxes. This is super important. I got to do that. This is going to be upgraded to a critical task. So now I can move and organize what is priority and what's not based on this screen here. And all I have to do is grab it and move it into where I want it to go. Okay. And based on this, the system will prioritize what's most important and will be able to manage this for you, the ones that are kind of flexible. Okay. These are stats over here. I haven't used it long enough to have all these stats, I think, or these stats are a paid version. So I'm not quite sure, but you can see it might be a good thing to kind of see where all your time and tasks are going to. Okay, this is the task section. So literally, just like any other system, you just start creating tasks. So I can click add new task and say test task. And how long do I think it's going to take me? 1 hour, 30 minutes. This is what I think. And minimum duration, 1 hour. And I can say a maximum duration of like 90 minutes, an hour and a half. So basically you just put in your parameters and you can say, hey, I want to do this in working hours, or this is a personal thing. I do personal hours. And then I want to schedule it only after a certain date. Okay, I'll say January 31st, and I can schedule it after that date. So it's scheduling forward. Okay, and if I hit create, then we'll add that task right here. You see right here, and then you can edit these anytime you want. Okay, so these are tasks that you add. And then these are the habits that you add. Okay, the habits are these type of things that I showed you earlier. I always go on a morning hike with my dog, Lucy. So I added a habit. That's a habit that I want to track. I always have lunch between 1 and 2 o'clock. So I added that as a habit. And then, hey, I always do play pickleball on Tuesdays and Fridays. So that's a habit. So you can create your habits. Those are more like your recurring tasks or recurring things that you do. So once you create these, then you have these rules that you can put in, what days you want them to be, and then they will automatically be managed by Reclaim AI as well. Okay, so at the end of the day, this is really easy. It's really easy to manage. You create your habits, you create your individual tasks that are not recurring, and then you have your planner that you plan to see where things go, right? And then you have your priorities where all those tasks and habits belong. Okay, that's the entire system. So when you can do that, now you can manage your calendar effectively.
So how the system know you've done the work? You go in there and say, hey, completed or something?
That's right. Yeah. It can do one of two things. It can track how, so if I go to this, it can track how much time you can start and stop your task, like a timer. And then you can tell it like, hey, I finished it. I didn't finish it. Hey, I still have this much work to do. You can see all of these things in it. And then you can reprioritize as critical, low priority, medium priority, high priority. And based on that, it can move it to a time that is not in the way of any of the most important things. Okay, so it's calculating everything, right? All right, Any questions before I move on? I've got about 15 minutes left, and I know this is super exciting stuff, and I've got a lot of stuff to show you still. Is this all cool, interesting? Something that you guys may consider using? Give me a 1 if you think you guys might want to try it out.
Yeah, that's really awesome. It's almost like Trello married AI.
That's correct. Well, you could, yeah, it's part Trello, it's part Google Calendar, it's part AI. Like I wish,
I didn't want to do the threesome. That's why I kept it with the one.
Yeah, you see what I mean? So super cool, right? All right. The next thing that I use to organize my business and my personal life is Notion. Has anybody heard of Notion? Give me a 0 in the chat if you've heard of Notion. No. Okay. I'm going to say that if you guys haven't heard of it before, you guys will in the future. It's a very unique software, okay, that you use for all kinds of things. The way that I could maybe describe it is Google Docs or Google Sheets on steroids, okay, meaning that you can literally organize anything, and you can even create web pages on the fly, which I do a lot of, and you can organize all of your projects. You can see right here the way that I've organized it is based on this Para system. Okay, I didn't come up with it. Somebody really smart came up with it, is that you organize everything by project, by area that you're interested in, by resources, meaning these are resources to help me with my projects, or this is an archive task or project that I already finished. Okay, so this is how we organize that. And the way that we organize that and describing it is projects are anything that's, let's say, for example, these are all examples, complete web page designs, buy a new computer, that would be a project, renovate my bathroom, that would be a project. So you can imagine for your business, for real estate, it could be different projects that you're working on. Maybe it's a marketing campaign, maybe it's a social media campaign, maybe it's a mailer campaign, something like that. That would be a project. Okay, and what areas are these things possibly could be? It's marketing or human resources if you have a team. For my personal health, that would be an area that we keep track of. The resources could be, graphics that you need to store, maybe logos and things like that. How do I do personal productivity? Documents and things like that are resources that I keep going back and are reusable. And then archives are just anything that I don't need to use anymore. Completed tasks. Things that are inactive or things that are not of interest anymore. So that's how we organize this Power system. I added one more section to this called capture. And this is what I talked about before, is being able to capture anything and then be able to file them into either projects, into different areas, or into resources. Okay, so I can see something on a web page that's super interesting and I want to kind of get back to it and dive down deep. I can capture it and then I can store it into a resource or store it into a specific area. Okay, so you can see everything we do on a daily basis and weekly basis and annual basis could fall into any of these categories, as long as we are able to kind of capture our ideas and capture assets that we may find. Okay, so I'm going to show you how Notion works. You guys ready? Give me a yes in the chat if you want to see what Notion,
Ready to go.
Notion looks. Ready to go. Let's go. All right, this is Notion. And the system is called second brain because it keeps, imagine you have one brain, but you have a second brain that you can store everything into so that it's out of your brain that you're not thinking about all the time because it's stored away. So this is called the second brain. Okay, and so you see here on the left, hopefully you guys can see the text okay. You can see here, I have my category. I have capture. These are things that I'm capturing. This is just a template that I use. This is the projects that I may be working on. Here are all the resources that I may have for different things. These are ideas. And then these are the areas. So actually I'll move areas here. So now we have PARA, and then these are all the archives. Okay. first thing I'm going to show you is the capture. Okay, these are ideas that I've captured. Okay, I say, hey, I had an idea about a new presentation, new AI presentation. So now I've captured it, and now it's here. And it automatically dates it too, so that we can see what month that was. You can see this was an example. So it was May of 2023. So it would categorize and organize it per month. Okay, this is a test one that I have. I'll show you my live one. This is my capture. Okay, so you can see it captured all the things that I wanted to remember. These are kind of like my saves. I saved this, I saved that. All of these things are saved by the month that they're in. Okay, so how this works is that, let's say I'm online and I'm researching AI. Okay, and let's say I came across this site called Research AI. I said, oh, super interesting. I want to, come back here and I want to look at it and I want to bookmark it. I want to make sure I don't forget it. So I click here, this little plugin for Notion, and now I can capture it. So I click capture, and now it's captured the name of it. It's captured as a web clip, and it's going to capture the link to it, and I can say save. Now I saved it to Notion. So now if I go to Notion and I go to capture and I go to today's date, there is my link. Okay, so actually if I open it, you can see the link right here. And if I just click on it, I open it, here's everything about it. I can make notes about it if I want, but if I click it, it'll take me right to it. So this is what we would call a universal capture. This would be equivalent to your Google Keep, where you're trying to keep track of stuff, and everything that you find, you can just tag it right here and it'll keep this forever. This is basically my knowledge-based system, my own personal knowledge-based system. But you might be wondering like, oh, well, I can just use Google Keep. Why do I need this? Well, one of the things that you can do is this is AI enabled. So if I click this little button down here, I can ask AI anything. What is research AI? So now it's going to search all of my notes, all of my assets, all of my own personal stuff, and it's going to find anything in relation to AI. Okay, in this case, it said it couldn't find exactly all the results, but you can see it pulled up these pages that are AI related based on my question. Okay, so I can say use design. So now I can maybe go to this page for my presentation and I can ask it a question. Give me a summary. Now it's reading my own page and my data and creating a summary. It's building a summary regarding my documents. Okay. So you might think like, oh, well, that's cool. I can do that with ChatGPT if I want to. Sure. But now, what if I told you I can go in here, create a new page. Oops. One second here. What if I can create a page and then I want to say, write an email to my real estate client about a new listed home. So it's now writing an email. Actually, I can write it right in here. So right here, I can say, ask AI, write an email to my real estate client about off-market deal. So now AI is going to write it. Okay, it wrote it. I say replace. Here's my email that it wrote. Okay, now it's in my document. It's in everything that I write. Now I can search on it. I can ask questions about it. I can do whatever I want with it using AI. Okay, so I've gone over the capture part. The project part, you can always create a new project. And you can organize your project within it. You can create pages, you can create links, you can create websites right out of here. And then you can create, here are areas categorized that we're capturing. So for example, in my areas here, I have all of these different areas. I have agent attraction. This is where I store all my AI images. This is when I do my AI researches. Here are all the ideas that I have. Here's all the books that I wanted to capture. Here's the email content that I wanted to capture. Okay, and I can search on any of this stuff. So I can say, show me email content that I have created. So now it's going to go and find email content. There it goes. It found 10 pages that I have email content on. AI speed emails. Okay, so this is my own private knowledge base that I can keep track of, and it organizes all of my projects, all of my areas, all of my resources that I might have, and anything that's archived going forward. All right, I've given you a lot here. So does this format make sense to you? How you would organize all of your data for all your business and all your personal stuff?
Hey, really appreciate it. I think Google Keeps, I had to do like 3 extra steps. This saves all that. I had to go find the URL, then I copy and paste it on the Google Keep. Now you
That's
can
right.
do all that. Yeah, this is
right.
awesome, man. I thought it was kind of complicated, so I didn't want to sign on with it. I'm kind of like buying different things and junky. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna clean up everything, keep it simple. Looks
Yep.
like Notion AI is probably a combination of everything, and it's pretty basic stuff. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, that's right. And just so you guys know, Notion itself is free. Okay. If you want all of the AI functionalities, then you pay $10 a month for all the AI.
Wow, that's crazy.
So it's free to use. Okay. And you can, people build templates for AI, for Notion. You can literally just import templates.
So
Okay.
the Notion, there's an upgraded version for a different function or what?
Really, there's not much. There's the core app that you can subscribe to, a paid version that gives you more, that gives you things that I don't even use. I actually use a free version of Notion, and I purchased the AI part because I see the benefit of all the AI, because it can read all of my documents and read all of my stuff. Okay.
Yeah, that's just incredible. Like agent attraction, I wanted to like I visit with one-on-one people, and if I write a note and I say, who's the guy who was talking about this? So I can ask the AI, will search through everything.
That's right. And the big thing is I can write my emails, I can write my content, I can write captions, I can write everything right out of there. And I can store everything forever. And it's my stuff. Right.
And also on the new listing, like a prospect you're working on. So if you started a new
right.
file, throw everything up there so you don't have to look
right.
for a word to organize it.
That's right. All right. So I just got a couple of minutes here. What's the one thing, okay, from all the stuff that we talked about? Put in the chat or feel free to unmute. What's the one thing that you will organize now that we've shown you some of the possibilities, how things kind of get put together, and a couple of options for, say, Notion or Reclaim AI to be able to use for some of those things. Again, remember, we are just scratching the surface. We're just scratching just this part here and this part here for calendaring. Okay, there's lots of other stuff that we can put together, but what comes to mind here as I went through everything? What's the one thing coming out of this this session that you guys will organize? Your notes, my calendar, very good, and reclaim. Okay, Caitlin, you might consider doing Calendly, super powerful. I've been using it for probably at least 2 or 3 years, and I schedule all of my stuff there. It does all of my reminders for all of my attendees. It does all of the follow-ups for all the attendees, and everything's templated and ready to go.
Cool, I'll try that. Thank you.
Sure. Kimberly says all of my ideas about content, appointments, organization, piecing everything together. That's right. Okay. Personal knowledge library, Abby, that's right. So that's really the key thing. You want to have a system that can do all of that stuff and not have to like change it later on, because you want you want all the features like Notion that has everything you need, and so that you don't have to do one thing with like 3 or 4 tools, right? So that's super important to organize, is organizing what are all the tools you're going to use. So you see right here, this is exactly what I did. What are all the tools that are going to run my business? Okay, so lastly, understand as far as everything AI is concerned, before you create anything, try and find an AI tool that will help you do it, because that's going to be very important nowadays. When I send you guys an email, you guys will get all of this resources and all the links and everything, and the slides and the video recording once I have it. Okay, so before you find an AI tool, I will give you a site in that email that will allow you to find any AI tool that you need for anything you need to do. And then, as I always say, explore AI tools, explore technology, acquire a skill to use it, and then make improvements on it. And lastly, I just want to thank all of you for being here. I'm 1 minute behind, but I'm happy to stay behind if anybody has any additional questions around what they're doing. And here is the resource link that you'll need. So go ahead and grab your phone and sign in. Once you do that, when I get the email out, you'll have all the slides and all the resources that I talked about here. You're welcome, Kimberly. You're welcome, Fernanda. Thank you guys for being here and participating. And let's stay connected. And I will get all this stuff out to you guys. And of course, when the recording comes back out, I'll send it as well so that you guys can revisit. All right, appreciate you all. I do this about once a month. I may start doing them more so that people can get really valuable stuff around systems. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day, everybody.
All right. Thanks a lot, Leo. Appreciate you.
Yes, Caitlin, I teach many other classes around AI. And let me take a second and give you the link to all of my AI courses. It's also on Real Academy, but I also have my own YouTube that you can go to. Let me grab it for you real quick. Account, channel, playlist. So hang on here. Let me grab let me grab the link for you, Caitlin. So I did a bunch of foundational AI courses for you. So you can literally watch all of them, starting with ChatGPT and design, automations, pretty much all the core stuff. And I'm going to continue to do them once a month, but there's all the recordings right there in the link. All right, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. Definitely scan the QR code and join the mastermind so that I can get the recording and everything out to you. All right, have a great day, everybody. Talk to you soon.